Hello, and welcome to Mythic Mundi. In the vast, echoing halls of legend, where the whispers of gods still linger in the air we breathe, there are objects of power. Artifacts that are more than just tools. They are ideas. They are symbols that carry the weight of divine authority, cosmic battles, and the very essence of human fear. Some legends speak of swords that choose their kings, or hammers that command the storm. But today we explore an artifact that is, perhaps, even more profound. It is not merely a shield, nor simply a breastplate. It is a mantle of protection, a weapon of psychological warfare, and a mirror that reflects the terror hidden within all who gaze upon it. Today we delve into the story of the Aegis. What is this object truly? To whom did it belong? We often associate it with two of the most powerful Olympians, Zeus, the king of the gods, and Athena, the goddess of wisdom. But the Aegis is far more than a simple accessory. Its story is woven from the threads of cosmic conflict, divine craftsmanship, and the terrible fate of one mythology's most tragic figures. Join us as we uncover the multiple origins, the profound symbolism, and the enduring legacy of the artifact that could turn the tide of war with a single glance. This is the story of the Aegis. The story of the Aegis does not begin in a single place. Like many great myths, its origins are veiled in conflicting tales, each adding a layer to its complex identity. To understand the Aegis, we must first understand its name. The word Aegis comes from the ancient Greek Aegis. Its translation is not as simple as shield. It carries connotations of a goatskin cloak or breastplate. In its earliest mentions, it is not depicted as the round bronze shield we might imagine. It is something more primal, more elemental. One of the most prominent origin stories ties the Aegis to the very infancy of the king of the gods. In the terrible war against his father, the Titan Cronus, a young Zeus was hidden away on the island of Crete. There, he was nurtured in secret, protected by the nymph Amalthea. In many versions, Amalthea is not a nymph, but a goat, a divine creature whose milk nourished the future ruler of Olympus. When Amalthea eventually passed, Zeus, in his grief and to honor her sacrifice, took her hide. This hide was said to be impenetrable, capable of deflecting any spear or sword. But it was not enough for it to be durable. It had to be divine. Zeus entrusted the hide to Hephaestus, the divine craftsman, the smith of the gods. In the fiery heart of his volcano forge, Hephaestus worked his magic. He transformed the simple hide into a masterpiece of divine engineering. He fringed its edges with golden tassels. Some say these were serpents, writhing with latent energy. At its center, he set a symbol of power, a representation of the Gorgon's visage, a mark of primal fear. This was the Aegis in its first form. It was not just a piece of armor, it was a symbol of his rise to power, a reminder of the protection that allowed him to survive. When Zeus wore the Aegis, it was more than protection. It was a weapon. In the epic poems of Homer, when Zeus brandishes the Aegis, he does not simply block a blow, he creates terror. The very air around it crackles. Homer describes Zeus holding it, and from it he summons storm clouds, lightning, and thunder. The Aegis is the storm. Its name is sometimes linked to the word kataigizo, meaning to rush down like a tempest. When the king of the gods shook the Aegis, armies would panic. Mortals and even other gods would be struck with a sudden, unexplainable dread. It was the physical manifestation of divine awe, or thembos. It didn't just protect the wearer, it unmanned the enemy. It was a psychological weapon, a tool of order and authority. To face the Aegis was to face the full, unbridled fury of the cosmos, the chaos of the storm, and the absolute authority of the king of the gods. But this early Aegis, this storm-mantle of Zeus, was only the first chapter of its story. Its most famous and most terrible form was yet to come. The Aegis was a symbol of raw, elemental power, the power of the sky. But power, to be truly effective, must be wielded with more than just fury. It must be guided by wisdom. And so, the Aegis would soon find a new guardian. It would be passed from the king of the gods to his most favored child, the one who truly understood its terrible potential. The story of the Aegis was ready for its second and most iconic chapter, the Age of Athena.
The Aegis, in the hands of Zeus, was a symbol of absolute power and the fury of the natural world. But as the Olympian order was established, the artifact found its way to a new, and perhaps its most fitting, owner. It was gifted by Zeus to his daughter, Athena. This transfer is deeply significant. Athena is not a goddess of blind rage or chaotic warfare. She is the goddess of wisdom, of courage, and crucially, of strategy. She represents the intellectual and disciplined side of conflict. For Zeus to gift her the Aegis was an acknowledgement that true power lies not just in the ability to create terror, but in the wisdom to know when and how to deploy it. In Athena's hands, the Aegis was transformed. While still described as a cloak or breastplate in some texts, it is under her stewardship that it also becomes synonymous with the shield. It is polished, refined, and made a central part of her divine panoply. It represented her authority, her protection over her chosen heroes and cities, particularly Athens. But the Aegis was still incomplete. It held the power of the storm, but it lacked its most definitive, most terrifying feature. That feature would be acquired through one of the most famous and tragic quests in all of Greek mythology, the tale of Perseus and Medusa. The story of Medusa is a heartbreaking one. She was once a beautiful mortal, a priestess who served in Athena's own temple. Her fate was sealed when she caught the eye of the sea god Poseidon. In a terrible act of desecration, Poseidon confronted Medusa within the sacred walls of the temple itself. Athena, outraged at the defilement of her holy space, channeled her wrath. But it was not Poseidon who bore the brunt of it. It was Medusa. The goddess's justice was severe, and it transformed the mortal priestess into a monster. Her beautiful hair was turned into a nest of writhing serpents. Her skin turned a monstrous hue, and her gaze was given a terrible power. Anyone who looked directly into her eyes would be turned instantly to stone. Medusa, the victim, was made into a gorgon, a creature of such profound terror that she was banished to a remote island, a prisoner of her own curse. This is where the hero Perseus enters the story. Tasked with the impossible quest of bringing back the Gorgon's head, he was guided and aided by the gods, chiefly Athena. She did not just want Medusa's story to end, she had a purpose for its tragic conclusion. Athena provided Perseus with the key to his success. She gave him a highly polished, reflective bronze shield. She instructed him not to look at Medusa directly, but to view her only through the shield's reflection. This is a powerful metaphor. The only way to confront true terror is not to face it head-on, which leads to paralysis, but to observe it indirectly, through the lens of wisdom and strategy. Guided by the reflection, Perseus succeeded in his perilous task. He overcame the Gorgon and secured her head, a trophy of his victory. This is where the stories converge. Perseus, indebted to the goddess for his success, presented the head of Medusa to his patron, Athena. And Athena, in an act of profound symbolic power, did something extraordinary. She did not hide the head away, she did not destroy it. She mounted it. She took the head of the Gorgon, still pulsing with its terrible power, and affixed it to the very center of her divine Aegis. This act is the climax of the Aegis' story. It is a moment of chilling genius. The Aegis was already a symbol of divine authority. Now it became a vessel of unparalleled terror. The abstract fear of the storm, which Zeus wielded, was now combined with the concrete, immediate, and paralyzing terror of Medusa's bays. The Aegis of Athena was complete. It was now the ultimate defensive and offensive weapon. As a shield, it was impenetrable, but as a weapon, it was devastating. In the midst of battle, Athena would let out her war cry and brandish the Aegis. On its surface, her enemies would see the face of Medusa, and they would be frozen, not always literally turned to stone, as in the case of the original curse, but paralyzed by a soul-crushing fear. The symbolism is layered and powerful. Athena, the strategist, takes a symbol of profound tragedy and injustice, the fate of Medusa, and transforms it into a tool of power. It is a stark message that wisdom can harness even the most horrifying of terrors and turn it into a shield. Furthermore, the image of Medusa's head, the Gorgonian, became a powerful symbol in its own right. It was an apotropic symbol, meaning it had the power to ward off harm. By displaying the most terrifying thing imaginable, you could frighten away all other lesser evils. The Aegis, now bearing the Gorgon's head, was a complete paradox. It was a shield that looked like a weapon. It was a symbol of wisdom that utilized pure terror. It was a monument to a terrible tragedy, repurposed as a tool of divine, strategic justice. It was the ultimate deterrent, a warning to all who would dare challenge the order of Olympus or the wisdom of its greatest goddess. This new Aegis, the shield of Athena, would echo far beyond the battlefields of the gods. Its image would be carved into the very fabric of human civilization, a legacy that continues to this day.
The journey of the Aegis does not end with the fall of Troy or the closing of the mythical age. The power of its story was so profound that it transcended the pages of epic poetry and embedded itself into the very bedrock of Western culture. The Aegis, as a concept, became as powerful as the mythical object itself. Its legacy is most clearly seen and most widely felt in two distinct arenas, the world of art and the world of language. First, let's look at the artistic and cultural legacy. The image of the Gorgonean, the head of Medusa, became one of the most potent symbols in the ancient world.
Long after the myths were first told, this image was replicated endlessly. Why? Because of its apotropaic power, its ability to protect. Archaeologists have found the Gorgonean on countless artifacts. Greek soldiers painted it on their shields, hoping it would paralyze their enemies with fear, just as it did in the hands of Athena. It was carved into the facades of temples, acting as a divine guardian at the threshold between the sacred and the profane. It was placed on the city gates, on armor, on pottery, and even on jewelry, worn as a personal amulet to ward off misfortune and the evil eye. The Gorgonean on the Aegis was a symbol of ultimate protection. It was a statement that this place, or this person, was protected by a power so terrifying it could stop evil in its tracks. Every time someone carved that face, with its serpent hair and fearsome gaze, they were borrowing a fragment of the Aegis's power. They were in effect trying to create their own small piece of divine protection. Even in later Roman mythology, the goddess Minerva, the Roman equivalent of Athena, is depicted carrying the Aegis, and we see its influence on figures like Alexander the Great, who, according to legend, had the image of a gorgon on his armor, a clear attempt to associate himself with the divine, strategic, and terrifying power of the goddess. The Aegis in art is a symbol of the line between civilization and chaos, order and terror. It is the guardian on the wall, the frightening face that keeps the truly monstrous forces at bay. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Aegis is the one we all use, often without even realizing it. The Aegis lives on in our language. How many times have you heard a phrase like, "The event was held under the Aegis of the university," or "The peacekeeping mission operated under the Aegis of the United Nations"? When we use that phrase, "under the Aegis of," what are we really saying? We mean under the protection of. We mean with the sponsorship, authority, or official backing of. This simple phrase, used in modern English, is a direct, unbroken line back to the thundering mantle of Zeus and the terrifying shield of Athena. When a modern organization provides its Aegis to a project, it is lending its authority, its protection, and its symbolic power, just as Zeus and Athena did. It implies that the project is safe, it is sanctioned, and it is defended by the reputation and resources of that powerful entity. Think of the power of that. A concept forged in a 6,000-year-old myth about goat hides, storms, and monsters is still the most precise and evocative word we have to describe modern concepts of sponsorship and institutional protection. The Aegis, then, is a myth that never truly ended. It evolved. It began as a primal, animalistic symbol of survival and nurture, the hide of the goat Amalthea. It transformed into a raw, elemental power, the storm-mantle of Zeus, a tool of chaos and authority. It was refined into a symbol of strategic wisdom and terrifying justice, the shield of Athena, bearing the tragic face of Medusa. It became a cultural icon, the Gorgonean, a protective talisman carved onto the armor and architecture of an entire civilization. And finally, it dissolved into language itself, becoming a concept, an idea, a word that we still use to define our world. The Aegis is a testament to the idea that true power is complex. It is protection and it is threat. It is wisdom and it is terror. It is the shield that defends, and it is the gaze that freezes. It reminds us that the greatest tools of power are often those that command authority not through simple force, but through the profound, unassailable, and sometimes frightening power of the ideas they represent. It is, and has always been, the ultimate symbol of divine protection. The world of myth is filled with such powerful symbols, stories that continue to shape our understanding of ourselves. The Aegis is just one of many. What ancient artifact or timeless legend would you like us to explore next? Let us know in the comments below.
Your curiosity guides our journey. And if you found yourself captivated by the story of the Aegis, please help our community grow by liking this video, subscribing to Mythic Mundi, and sharing your thoughts. Every comment and subscription helps us continue to unlock the secrets of the past. Thank you for joining us, and may you walk under the protection of wisdom.